What is up, guys, and welcome back to another week of Power Rankings. Week 3 was wild, and we're beginning to see who the real contenders are in the NFL. If you guys like these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Before we get into it, at 200, we are doing the subscriber hot takes video, and that will probably be dropping on Thursday. We're at 195 right now, so we're pretty much there. But keep dropping those hot takes in the comments, and let's get right into it. We have some movement at the bottom of the rankings as the Titans are down 3 and are now last in the NFL. They got destroyed against the Packers, losing 30-14. This team continues to turn the ball over time and time again. And this defense just did not look good against Malik Willis and that Packers team. Right now they're 0-3. This season is beginning to fade early, and that's something you do not want to see if you're a Titans fan. And they'll look to get back on track next week. But as of right now, they're at 32. Falling down 3-31 is the New England Patriots. They got that win week 1, but ever since this team has just looked not great. Jacoby Brissett did not do anything with that offense. They lost 24-3 to the Jets. Defensively, they weren't too bad, but they could still be better. Stevenson didn't do much. That was their key to winning in week 1, and since he hasn't done much the last 2 weeks, they've lost those last 2 games. So Patriots need to turn it around. They're 1-2, but they're looking like one of the most weak offensive teams in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars got embarrassed on Monday Night Football, but they're only falling to 30. This team needs to figure it out. Trevor Lawrence is not the answer, it seems. This team hasn't won since Thanksgiving of last season. There is a clear problem with Jacksonville. Their defense just got destroyed tonight. They let Josh Allen walk right over it, and offensively could not do anything. Etienne is not what he was last year, and this offense is just not what it was in the first half of last year. So ultimately, the Jaguars are at 30. They went up 7 last week, but now they're back down 7 this week after they beat one of the best teams in the league last year, the Ravens. This week, they lose to the worst team in the league, that as of last week, the Panthers. And what's happening? They were questioning quarterback already because Minshew just could not get it done against the Panthers. This team got destroyed by Andy Dalton. You'd think it was 2015 if Andy Dalton is destroying a defense. But the Raiders, they really do need to get back on track. You thought they had it against the Ravens because that was a huge win for them, but I don't know what happened between week 2 and week 3. So they're all their progress they had, they're going to lose, and they're back at 29. Andy Dalton is really the reason why the Panthers are moving up 4-28. What a game from him. I didn't expect it. Did not expect it from him. And this defense looked actually pretty solid too. They played their best defensive game of the season, and ultimately it was Andy Dalton, but this was somewhat of a team effort. And it showed that the system is a system where a quarterback can win. It was just kind of Bryce Young's poor play that had them playing like that in the first 2 weeks. And they seem like they might be turning a corner, so they're at 28. Malik Nabers is really, really good at football, and his performance is really the reason why the Giants win. They move up from 31-27 this week, and this defense did shut down Deshaun Watson. They had 7 sacks, which is really good, but ultimately it was this offense that's led mostly by Malik Nabers. When in games that they've done well, they've been really competitive. And the key to potential Giant success is that receiver. But ultimately, Daniel Jones is going to need to be a bit better, and he showed flashes of it. So it's not looking down anymore. It's looking up for the Giants, and they're at 27. Bo Nix turned it around this week. The Broncos moved from 30-26. What a win over the Buccaneers. That is a win from them that I did not expect whatsoever. The defense was crazy good. I did not expect that out of a defense that they did show flashes. They held the Steelers to 13 in week 2, and in week 1 they held the Seahawks in check. But the Broncos are not as bad as I thought they were, and they have some good pieces on that offense that could help Bo Nix and this team potentially elevate to that next level, and they showed flashes. So they're at 26. What is wrong with the Cincinnati Bengals this season? They're 0-3. I have them only at 25. They were at 19 last week, so they go down 6. But there is something wrong with Cincinnati. They lose 38-33 to the Commanders. This defense is terrible. It's kind of what's going to cost them this entire season. They have a game against the Panthers this week where they can get back on track. Higgins looked good in his first game back. Yossi Voss continues to play well. Jamar Chase is one of the best receivers in the league. But it's just that defense that needs a lot of work, and that's why they're 0-3, and that's why they're ultimately at 25. You have to feel for the Dolphins because this team is going to have a wasted season on backup quarterbacks. Because of Tua's injury, they cannot score on offense. Skylar Thompson was terrible. Even when Tim Boyle came in, this offense couldn't do anything. I only dropped them 1 because they didn't really show me anything or show why they got worse. It's just really the lack of quarterback play. This defense was okay, but the offense is going to need to find a way to win without the talents of Tua, and for that they're at 24. The Bears' offensive line is holding back this offense, and they lose again to the Colts this week. They dropped from 21 to 23 in the power rankings, and this team is just mid. Their defense is great, their offense is not. Caleb Williams had a lot of passing yards in this one, but a couple of mistakes, a couple of interceptions. They lose one that they should have had. There was really no reason why they should have lost this game. And these are the losses that are going to pile up at the end of the year. So the Bears are at 23. Man, Deshaun Watson sacked 7 times in this one. The Browns lose to the Giants. And it's not looking good in Cleveland. Deshaun Watson is subpar. He's terrible when dropping back. The defense is it's okay, but needs to be better if they want to counteract what this offense is not able to do. And right now, they're just looking like a very mid football team, so they're at 22. Indy picked up their first win of the season, and they move up to 21 in this week's power rankings. And Richardson continues to make. I saw something that said that he's able to make throws that 99% of quarterbacks can't, and he can't make throws that 99% of quarterbacks can. And that's just true. He makes terrible decisions. This defense did hold up. Just Jonathan Taylor continues to be that workhorse back for them. And the Colts have issues, but they got it done. They move up 5 this week, and they're at 21. The LA Rams pick up the win over the 49ers, and they move up to 20. And this team is so injured, but they were able to pick up the win, largely because Kyren Williams played insane in this one. The defense held up in the second half, and what a comeback win, what a statement win for McVay and that Rams team, that they needed something like this. Dropping to 0-3 would have been a season breaker, and the season is not over yet in LA. So right now they're at 20. The Arizona Cardinals have another loss where I'm honestly still impressed with this team. They're outperforming what I thought they were going to be. I'm only dropping them 1 for this loss from 18 to 19. And Kyler Murray continues to make those plays that he needs to make. This defense is a lot better than what they look on paper. And in the NFC West, I think they look like a potential threat to teams like the 49ers or the Seahawks, who we're going to get to later. But right now, Cardinals playing good football. They're at 19. The Atlanta Falcons take a tough L to the Kansas City Chiefs. I moved them down 3-18. And this team shows flashes. They have flashes where their defense looks like it's shut down. They have flashes where their offense looks like it's unstoppable. But they need to consolidate that into being a good all-around team all of the time. And that's going to take time. But this Falcons team does have potential. I think they're going to contend for a playoff spot this year. But they just need to work things out. And they're 1-2 right now. And I have them at 18. The Week 3 game for the Chargers could not have gone more wrong. Herbert goes down with an injury. Joe Alt, their tackle, who shuts down pretty much every end he faces, it goes down with an injury. Bosa had an injury. And really, this Chargers team lost all the momentum they had from the first 2 weeks. They're dropping down to 17. And at 2-1, they look a lot worse than most other 2-1 teams. They could not score in the second half. Their offense was non-existent, and they really need to turn things around going into a Week 4 matchup here against the Chiefs, and they're at 17. Dallas played terrible for the first 3 quarters, but then picked it up in the fourth, ultimately making a game against the Ravens close. I dropped them 2 this week, and man, Dak Prescott continues to have great stats, but not the results that they want. The one win they had against the Browns was his worst statistical game this season, and the 2 pretty much blowout losses have been his best. This defense just needs to play better early on, and that's kind of their main problem. They can't stop the run. And yeah, they got to figure out lots of problems, and they're at 16. The Commanders are going to move up 10. Jaden Daniels straight up looks like the best rookie quarterback in this class. What a game from him. He had 2 or 3 amazing throws that a lot of quarterbacks in this league cannot make. And this defense, they allowed lots of points. That's going to be their one thing that they need to figure out. If this defense can get good, this Commanders team is going to be a threat this year. What a win against the Bengals. What a statement win. The Commanders are going places. I like what Dan Quinn's doing for this team. And they're moving up 10 in the power rankings, which shows that they made a big play this week. So they're at 15. Tough loss for Tampa. They fall down 8 for me from 6-14. And offense could not get anything going against Denver. Baker, after playing 2 great weeks, he kind of shut down in this one. Really nothing production-wise from anybody on the Buccaneers. Defensively, they needed to be better. They kind of gave Bo Nix chances in this one and just need to straighten things out, so they're at 14. The 49ers are beginning to look very concerning, and that's why they're at 13. They dropped down 8 for me. They blew this one against the Rams. I don't care if they're missing a lot of guys. They blew the game. Jawan Jennings was really the only production they had on offense because they are missing guys, but nobody is stepping up. And the 49ers are not looking like what they've looked like the last 2-3 years. So they need to get back to their regular form, and that's going to be a huge part in their success this season. So they're at 13. The Jets blow out the Patriots on Thursday Night Football in Week 3. And, yep, defense looked really, really good. And offensively, Aaron Rodgers, what a game from him. Aaron Rodgers looked like Packers Aaron Rodgers in that game. Looked like he didn't miss a step while he was gone with that Achilles injury. Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, really good running back duo for them. Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, they got guys that can make plays on offense, and their offense has been their one problem the last couple of years, and it looks to be solved. The Jets look like they're going to be a great team this year. After the first 2 weeks were euphoria for Saints fans, they do lose a close one to the Eagles, where the defense looked really good for the Saints, continues to create turnovers, make plays, but the offense stalled out, and that's what led to them losing because they defense could only hold on to a Eagles offense for so long, and the Saints offense never got going. And that's something that the Saints are going to work on. I'm not too worried about them because of how close that game was, but I'm putting them back where they were before their win against the Cowboys. They're back at 11. So good job from the Saints so far, but not enough to get the win this week. Moving into the top 10, we have the Ravens. They're a team with a losing record, but they looked very good against the Cowboys this week. They jumped out to a very big lead early on. Derrick Henry is that guy for them. And Lamar Jackson can move this offense, and that's what they need. The defense, they do need to work on closing out games. They're getting help across the pass rush, and just the Ravens straightening some things out, but they're the best 1 and 2 team in the NFL right now. Justin Fields is leading a 3-0 Steelers team right now. A big win over the Chargers this week. And yeah, this defense is incredible. They shut down pretty much anybody they play. They've allowed 10 points, 6 points, and 10 points across 3 games, which is incredible. And yeah, the Steelers look very, very good. The offense, they did figure it out late against the Chargers, which is a good sign of things to come. And the Steelers will look to stay undefeated in the upcoming weeks. They got the Colts this week, so big chance for them to be 4-0. The Texans are falling down 6 after getting blown out by Minnesota this week, and offense could not get going. I know it's a very good Vikings defense, but they had to get going, and they didn't. And as for the Texans defense, they got owned by Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, all those pieces on the Vikings that we're going to get to in a second. But Texans just need to be better. They need to be more consistent, and that's why they're dropping down 6. Seattle, they might have played 3 easy teams in terms of when they played them, but they're 3-0, and their defense, secondary, great offense is looking amazing, and they're at number 7. Seattle is along with the Vikings, one of 2 undefeated teams in the NFC, and that's great. They're 2 games ahead in the division right now. Things are looking really up for the Seattle team early on, and they got to keep this momentum going if they want to potentially get in the playoffs and potentially win the NFC West. But really good start for the Seahawks. They're up 5 from 12 to 7. This Green Bay defense is something special this year. Last year, they only had 7 interceptions the entire season. They already have 7 this year in 3 games, which is amazing. They shut down Levis. Levis turned the ball over 3 times. McKinney has 3 picks in 3 games. Malik Willis is 2-0 as a starter and played almost flawless against the Titans. And this Packers team with Love back is going to be extremely scary. So that's why they're up at number 6. The Lions get a nice win against the Cardinals this week. They move up from 9 to 5. And all the concerns I had about the Lions after they lost to the Bucs in week 2, they kind of silenced me. The Lions look great. They had a really nice touchdown between it was a backwards lateral that ended up turning into a touchdown. It was a really nice play. Defense shut down a Cardinals offense that's been heavily producing over the first 2 weeks. And Lions, one of the best teams in the NFC this season. The Vikings are elite. I am going to admit that. Sam Darnold is playing the best football of his career. He had another amazing game in this one. Their defense is the schemes that Brian Flores has is something where CJ Stroud couldn't do anything and Brock Purdy was having trouble figuring out in week 2, where this Vikings defense is scary and Justin Jefferson continues to do Justin Jefferson things. And man, this Vikings team looks really, really good early on. They have a test against the Packers this week, and the winner of that game is going to look like a top dog in the NFC. So the Vikings are at 4. Saquon Barkley once again has an incredible game as the Eagles en route to a win over the Saints. This offense is great. Hurts just needs to stop turning over the ball. Dallas Goedert had 170 yards while they were missing Smith for half the game and Brown for the entirety of the game. The defense shut down a Saints offense that looked unstoppable in the first 2 weeks, and this Eagles team is extremely good. And they are looking like potentially this could be the team that finally gets put over the edge for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl this year. So they're at 3. No doubt that Josh Allen has been the best quarterback in football after they absolutely destroy the Jaguars on Monday night. 5 touchdowns for Allen, and man, this Bills team looks extremely scary. Where Allen is probably the MVP favorite. They have 5, 6 different guys that are receiving threats. This defense is pretty shut down. They've held their opponents in check for the last 2 weeks. And I think things are looking extremely up for Buffalo. They're at number 2, and they can move up even higher if they continue to play this football. And of course, we have to keep the back-to-back champions at number 1. Mahomes and his team get it done. Defense, they came up big late. They made big stops, including a 4th down late in the game. This offense, they looked questionable. They were without Pacheco, but Steele, Pirine, those guys were able to make big plays for them. And Kelsey, if he figures it out, this Chiefs team is going to get to the next level. So they're at number 1. But that's going to do it for week 3. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. At 200, we have that hot takes. And at 250, we're going to do a video where I bring in a subscriber and we're just going to talk football for a while. So share this with your friends if you liked it. And I'll see you for that hot takes video coming this week.